Fuck me, canned fruit.
All right, and welcome everybody back to yet another match here in United States Cup 2024. This is a losers bracket match between teams Oregon and Stateless, seed 11 and 14 respectively. I'm It's Pigeon. Joined with me tonight is Chillier Pear. How are you doing, Mr. Cold Fruit?
Hello. It is time for another losers bracket match. Like you said, this is one of the final matches of the weekend left up. There's two more losers bracket matches to be played. This match here, and then Washington versus Oklahoma coming later. We also have a match on the winners bracket right now ongoing alongside this, South California versus Virginia. So plenty of excitement tonight. We started the weekend off strong. A lot of very close matchups, even starting off with a tiebreaker for our first match of the weekend. But everything else thus far has been extremely polarizing, Pigeon. We have had a significant majority of matches so far over the course of the quarterfinals that have ended in 6-1s. The question is, do you think we have the same thing?
I don't know, honestly. Both of these teams have a lot of really strong players. You've got like Man for Oregon, Tallulah for Stateless, Hidden Dagger as well. I mean, those are two players from Ohio. Of course, Ohio doesn't have a team this year, hence why they are in Stateless. But I mean, even just outside of Man, all of Oregon is pretty scary. You also have like Eddie and Rinko Shirokane, both very good players. But I'm not too sure if this one's gonna be 6-1. I'm hoping it won't be, because all the matches I have commentated so far have been just complete sweeps. But I'm predicting maybe like 6-3 in favor of Oregon here. I think Oregon might have the edge over Stateless, but only just so.
Yeah, I have also commentated, I think, all 6-1 matches so far this weekend. All the matches that I've commentated and played in have been 6-1s this weekend. So it's definitely been quite the battle in some of these matches, but, you know, with one team clearly coming out on top in a significant number of these cases. It should be noted that Oregon and Stateless were both teams that fell to the losers bracket in the round of 16. Neither of them have been in since the round of 32. So they are just falling to losers bracket last weekend. This is their first weekend playing through the losers bracket. Stateless winning an upset, actually, versus Tennessee in their first match of the weekend. A 14th seed beating out the 9th seeded Tennessee 6-4. Oregon, no upset there, but Connecticut gave them a seriously difficult time. They ended up coming out on top 6-3, but they seriously had to fight for that win. So Oregon, with a little bit more of a battle behind them this weekend, maybe looking to stay in this losers bracket for just one more weekend. Both teams vying for it.
Potentially just one more. But whichever team loses this is out of the tournament. So these teams both have a lot on the line here, and they really have to give it their all if they want to stay in this tournament. Talking over here, I didn't actually pay too close attention to the picks bans. I'm going to pull that up here very quickly, but we are going to be getting into the Nomad 3, I believe this is.
Yes, this is the Nomad 3. This is the somewhat awkward-ish aim mechanics favored Nomad 3 this week. Some bursts, some longer streams, and mostly focused again on that aim. It should be noted, Pigeon, that if Stateless comes out on top of this match, they will have outplaced their seeding overall, considering we are going into the semifinals next weekend. That means that that is the top 12 teams in the tournament. Stateless, being at seed 14, will have outplaced their overall seed should they win this match. Oregon, if they win this match, will be right where they theoretically should be, based on seeding. We actually only will have one or two potential teams outplacing their seed going into the semifinals weekend. If Oregon ends up winning this match, that will be actually a match between Georgia and potentially the winner of Washington versus Oklahoma, the 21st seed and 24th seed, both potentially making it through to semifinals top 12. So Stateless has the opportunity to put up a pretty big upset here versus Oregon, starting off strong with a double break from Oregon on this first pick. This is Stateless's pick.
Yeah, definitely a lot of new records here for some of the teams. I know specifically like Minnesota and Georgia are both teams that come to mind as teams that have definitely performed their best in this tournament's history. But yeah, 2 early breaks here on the side of Oregon versus just the single break here right before the Ki from Hidden Dagger. And it is going to be 2 FCs to 1 with some good recovery combos on the side of Oregon for the time being.
Little bit of leeway. However, Tile gonna make it possible. However, Tristan going to be trading that miss out immediately. That is only going to serve to keep this match dead even right now, as Stateless has 2 FCs gone, Oregon has 2 FCs gone. However, the breaks on Oregon have come out just a little bit more frequently than Stateless. That extra combo that Tristan had there, putting up an extra 50k on top of Rinko Shirokane. And it's all down to whether or not Eddie or Tallulah come out on top of this map. Eddie, one of the most consistent mechanics players on the side of Oregon. Tallulah, pretty much the star of Stateless thus far in the tournament. One of these 2 players is going to have to work some magic for their team here to come out on top halfway through.
Yeah, definitely it is. Slight score lead for Stateless here, but only just so, as both Hidden Dagger and Tristan seem to be struggling pretty decently here. And their combos are kind of showing it, whereas Tile and Rinko have better recovery combos to back up Eddie. So, and I say that, and we do actually see a double miss from both of those players. Caster Curse, maybe, but that will nullify this score difference here for Oregon, and Stateless is maybe going to just run away with this so long as Tallulah can hold on. Tallulah misses, and what am I doing? I am cursing everybody. Dare I speak? Maybe not.
Tallulah with the break, a quarter of the way left to go in the map, and Oregon may have just been saved by this. Eddie, the consistency once again coming out from the star player on Oregon. We have breaks all across the board on Stateless. It's Tristan to find another miss. As we approach the final 1/8 of the map now, it's all down to this final section. Score lead goes over to Oregon. 90,000 score in their favor. It is not secure yet, but by all means, this is Oregon's map to lose right now. One final section, one long burst, and he hits it all the way into the ending. It's just under 200,000 potential score, and Oregon continues to pull away from this map into the ending here. Stateless, they are down. They are not coming back into this as Eddie brings it all the way 900k into the finish. And I think the score gap is simply too large as Hidden Dagger breaks.
Yeah, very unfortunate misses from these key players on Stateless. Eddie was able to maintain their strong combo that they had all the way through. I do believe that is the FC for Eddie. So Oregon is going to be putting a very quick point on the board, and that was actually Stateless's pick. So
Yep.
that is going to be a very quick break point to kind of go back over picks and bans, since we were kind of just talking about the teams in general while that happened. Oregon banned out Nomad 4 and DT1, and Stateless bans out Fremod 1 and Nomad 2. So
Precision and awkward stuff gone for Stateless here, understandable with the Oregon roster. Both of these teams also have a previous match this weekend to go off of for statistics for their opponents, meaning that they've got a little bit of information on either side here to go off of, get a little bit here. That's kind of the point of the losers bracket here. You do have some backing to your research here as we go through, and it's going to be hidden 2 for Oregon, the CS1 map coming out from them to start off here. Got to try and consolidate this breakpoint. Stateless, they fell off that map a little bit too much at the ending, and unfortunately, you know, that was basically a 1v1 for the majority of the map. Both of the bottom players on either side really not having a great time with that pick, and it was really just between Tallulah and Eddie. Once again, Eddie has just been a more consistent player in United States Cup thus far. If you look at the statistics, just far higher up on the average player performance for the overall tournament here. So very, very good stuff from Oregon to start the match off. Stateless now having to claw their way back into things already. Again, Stateless is the lower seeded team in this matchup, but by a very small margin, so it shouldn't make too much of a difference, but already looking a bit rough if your opening pick is lost.
Yeah, it's worth noting, we do have access to some of the statistics here already thus far this weekend, and like you were saying, Eddie is currently ranked 6th out of all players who have played in all maps, as having the best scores overall. So yeah, just a strong performance from Eddie, but going into this next pick here from Oregon, we are going to be seeing this hidden 2, and it makes a lot of sense when you consider players like Bashiman and Chang on the side of Oregon, 2 very strong hidden players, as well as Rinko. To round them out, for the side of Stateless, we have Zyrolek coming in, and I think Tristan as well, if I'm not mistaken. So we do see a very early miss from Tristan, so for the time being, score lead will be favoring Oregon. As I say that, Bashiman does end up dropping his combo, so it is going to nullify that just a little bit.
Yeah, it should be noted that Oregon was definitely the superior team in their first match of the losers bracket this week. Oregon, the number 4 seed out of day number 1 in terms of overall performance, whereas Stateless sitting at 14th out of 20 teams. So there is a bit of an advantage for Oregon if they can maintain that performance from their first match. Unfortunately for them, having a lot of trouble at the start of their first pick here, going to be giving Stateless a major avenue into this one. It's Tallulah once again on top for Stateless. It's Chang this time for Oregon. Again, probably one of the best reading players in this lobby, aside from Bashi. Looking pretty good, but this is an aim map at heart. And even though it is CS1 and that density takes over, you've got to be able to have that aim ready to go for this pick here. And it's 1 combo to 1 right now. Slight advantage for Bashi, 200 plus here. Coming into that first third of the map, we've got plenty more difficult sections coming up, but a little bit of a break right now for people to build as Tristan slider breaks.
Yeah, and what a spot to slider break on too. Zyrolek dropping combo as well, but they didn't really have much combo like Tristan did. It really is just down to these 2 players between these 2 teams, with more supporting combo on the side of Oregon here, as the score lead does shift back over to Oregon, and it will start climbing so long as these players can hold on.
This is going to be all down to these big combos, I think. Once again, it's the same thing we saw in the previous pick. Into the spinner. It's 1 FC for either side. But it's backing score for Oregon, going to keep them in the lead for right now. Again, that 1 FC is the only thing holding up both of these teams right now as a major advantage. Should the FC drop on either side, this goes over almost immediately. We're halfway through the map right now. This would be the worst possible place to find a break for anyone with a large combo. Oregon going to claw it continuously towards their side. It's about 100k now going over there on their pick, to be expected, but they are not comfortable in their position yet. We've got one more big section coming up here.
Yeah, lots of room for mistakes to happen here between these 2 teams, and we do actually see another mistake come out from Zyrolek. Of course, that player didn't have too big of a combo, but the player that did have a pretty decent combo was Rinko Shirokane, who does find another miss for themselves here. So it is just the single supporting combo, and Bashi versus
There goes
FC, no
Tallulah.
longer FC, on Tallulah is going to just make it one remaining FC on the board here. Tristan falling to shambles, and yeah, this is going to get very messy very quickly for Stateless.
This is already gone for Stateless. Unfortunately, we have a quarter of the way left to go on the map, and this is all Cheng's game right now. Bashi with a 900 backing combo, besting anyone on Stateless as well is just bonus on top of this full combo. Regardless of how much trouble Rinko Shirokane is having, Cheng is going to be bringing this one in right alongside with Bashi as his right-hand man. And a consolidated breakpoint for Oregon to start off this match as Stateless once again attempts to put up a valiant effort, but a little bit unlike that first map where it was one player to make all the difference. This was a little bit beyond that. Even if Tallulah was going to match the FC from Cheng right now, Bashi simply outscoring almost entirely the Zyrelic and Tristan scores there. That is approximately 820k out of the two of them compared to the 740k from Bashi, meaning that Rinko Shirokane really only needed about 100k in order to push this in favor of Oregon. That is just a better team performance from them on their opening pick. And I'm already liking how this looks for Oregon, but Stateless needs to get back into this early in the best of 11.
Yeah, very quick 2-0 here for Oregon. Of course, they won that breakpoint against Stateless on that first pick, but the 1.05 million score here from Cheng is very, very impressive. I mean, Tallulah even still with the 99.17% AC, 1x miss. It's pretty impressive, but yeah, he was matched pretty much 1-for-1 by Bashi Man, so that score, while impressive, just wouldn't have been enough regardless if he had FC'd. And we are going rapid fire here with these picks, going right into the DT2 pick here. This is going to be Mami Mami Zone, and I think we've seen this a lot this weekend.
Pretty favored to the speed team on this map. If you're pretty comfortable, that finger control slider section's really going to be a big point of advantage for your team. And Stateless certainly falls into that category. They are one of the better DT teams in the tournament in terms of where their seed range is. What I mean by that is rather just discounting, the top 8 teams who we kind of expect to have good mechanics rosters for this sort of thing in quarterfinals. But Oregon, they've got a pretty decent roster for this sort of thing. I think they could give Stateless a little bit of trouble, but really, again, comes down to that faster section there and whether or not Tallulah, one of Stateless' star players here, this is pretty much their skill set through and through, is able to make a bit of a difference here. It has basically come down to Tallulah either FCing or not FCing on these first 2 maps thus far, and unfortunately coming up short on both of them with misses. Oregon has had at least 1 FC per map for these first 2 picks, which has contributed to them getting a little bit of a larger gap on Stateless here. This has been a lot of what I would consider almost 1v1 matches with the backing players almost matching each other entirely for both teams on these first 2 picks. And I'm interested to see if we get that same thing one more time here, a 1v1 and then the other 4 players kind of duking it out.
Yeah, will be interesting to see here. So we do see some new faces from both teams. Tile and Mysterious going to be stepping in for the first time in this match. And already we've seen a few breaks from the side of Stateless, both Tallulah and Sirius finding some misses back and forth here. And that is going to net Oregon about a 40k point lead here already, about a quarter of the way through the map, and that's kind of significant, considering that this map is only about 1:50 long, and it will be over very quickly.
Yeah, this is all really about that one speed section. In terms of the overall performance right now, Oregon significantly coming out on top, but it's only about 130k. And that is not a world of difference when it is only 1 FC dropped for Stateless. It is 2 to 3 FCs right now. Accuracy sitting a little bit lower on the side of Stateless, but it's all going to be down. This is a combo game, again. As we pass the halfway point in the map, we are looking for any trouble in this difficult section. We've got pretty much a repeat of the beginning section right here before we get into that ending section. But here we go, one final bit before the Ki. It's Sirius continuing to have trouble, and Oregon advancing their lead because of it, and there goes Tallulah before the fast section. And that may have just done it for Stateless unless we see a three-way break on Oregon here.
We do see the one break from Rinko, followed shortly after by
it's
Eddie and
everyone.
Tile. It is the three-way break, as you were predicting. Did
It's a six-way
Tallulah
break.
hold on to their combo?
No, it's a six-way break.
It's a six-way
It was-
break. Yeah.
Everyone just did not survive, unfortunately. It is the hardest section of the map. We've seen a lot of combos drop there this weekend. And unfortunately for Stateless, Oregon's early lead means that that's going to come out on top for them.
Yet another breakpoint here for Oregon. I really wasn't sure if we should be expecting this from them, but already 3-0 against Stateless is that's quite challenging to come back from. Zyrolek with the 2x slider breaks, very unfortunate for them. Even if they have seed, it still wouldn't have been enough, but you have to wonder just how close it would have been. And probably would have been about within 100k, I imagine, 100, 200k.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, that one slider break, it hurts. But
It really
This-
did.
it's been an improved performance from Oregon for the entire match thus far. I mean, we basically started this match off on Nomad 3 with solo performances from both teams, basically. There was one player that was kind of confident on the map, and then the other two were kind of along for the ride. Second map in, Oregon makes a little bit of an improvement there. They've got one FC and then a pretty large backing score, and then the third player starts to fall back towards that kind of mid-range. Then Mommy Zone rolls in, and now we've got an Oregon that has pushed all the way to 3 really decent scores across the board, almost 700k across every single player, above 700k in average. So we very, very much have an improvement from Oregon across the entire match, whereas we're kind of seeing the same thing from Stateless over and over again. Tallulah on top, 2 supporting scores. Tallulah on top, 2 supporting scores. Little bit of a shift on Mommy Zone here. We've got Zyrelek on top. Tallulah not too far behind, but that third for Stateless not helping them out, unfortunately. That 300k is less than half the next closest score on Oregon that they needed to watch out for. So it's 3-0 right now, and it's Oregon's pick, which has the potential to go up 4-0. So Stateless is officially in a dangerous spot right now. If Stateless was able to win their own point there, I think they would have had a really good chance at bringing this match back to even because, you know, it's a best of 11. There's plenty of time. But once you lose 2 break points over the course of a match, and Oregon has the opportunity to potentially consolidate it on Hidden as a map pool with the reading map, after we've seen what Chang is able to produce alongside Bashi on this skill set, Stateless starts to maybe start shivering a bit.
Yeah, definitely not a spot I would want to be in personally. But yeah, this is Oregon at their best. It would appear they are very much so performing to their seed. And yeah, I'd really like to see Stateless kind of get their act together and get some points on the board here, because I definitely think that this match could go the distance. So far, we have seen, you know, relatively back and forth for the most part through most maps until like about the very end, except for like last map specifically. But I think Stateless definitely has it in them to at least put out a few points here on the board, try to equalize this already terrifying lead that Oregon's put together for themselves. Not sure if it will start on this map specifically. As you said, this is the reading hidden map. And Chang and Bashi Man are no strangers when it comes to reading and hidden. So not too sure about it starting here, but hopefully Stateless is going to be able to kind of just turn themselves around and get themselves on the board.
This has not been a popular map this weekend, to say the least. The ratio of picks to bans on this map is 1 to 3. So for every map that match, or 1 to 2, or yes, 1 to 3 rather. So for every match this map has been picked in, it has been banned in 3 others. So it really says something about the style of this map, and you know, the teams that pick it are quite confident on this sort of thing. So we'll have yet to see a team with a performance, at least a player that has matched up to the performance of Will Cookie on this map, who put up a 99.3% FC. Chang based on the performance on reading thus far in this tournament, has the potential to best that with their consistency alongside. It's some rough start here for Yukina Simp, but we are still early on in the pick, and once this really starts to kick up, we're going to be expecting a couple more misses. Again, very aim-oriented low AR pick.
Yeah, a little bit of act drops as well as those just a fair amount of misses here from Yukina Simp, but it was traded shortly before that by Tristan. However, Zyrolek missing here will not get traded by anybody as Yukina Simp and Tallulah both trade. Tristan dropping their combo. There goes Chang, the one player you'd expect to put up a solid score, unfortunately not holding onto their combo, and it is just now Bashiman, the lone remaining FC in the lobby.
I see Cheng breaking. I also see the entirety of Stateless finding a miss. That was a three-way break right there for them, which puts them significantly behind here, considering this map is not super long. Bashi looking to do what he does best. Usually on these reading maps, it's been Cheng and Bashi supporting each other, but looks like on to Rockwilder here, it's going to be Bashi all the way, 99.3 holding it in, and another set of full resets for Stateless means that they are going to fall all the way down on this one. Bashiman not quite going to be able to pick up the 1v3 on this map, but he is going to make it pretty freaking close. He's about 100k away from doing so right now. Stateless going to pull over 1 million just by the ending of this map here as we come into the last patterns. And unfortunately, will not be outscoring Will Cookie with that accuracy, but Bashiman on a full combo into the ending, only just a fraction of score off from putting up that 1v3 there. That is just about 7,000 score away from a 1v3 opportunity for Bashiman there. And Oregon to consolidate another break point, puts Stateless significantly behind now, unfortunately. And now they are fighting the uphill battle of all time.
Yeah, down 2 break points, as well as just 2 picks of Oregon's own is it's a very scary spot to be in for any team. And I was saying before, you know, I wasn't really too certain that they would be starting any form of a comeback on that pick, since it was Oregon's pick, and we know Oregon, this is their kind of map, as they just showed. But hopefully Stateless is going to be able to get their act together and start putting some points up on this board sooner than later, as, you know, it's very quickly potentially going to go right into match point for Oregon on their next pick. They still have, I'm looking at like Hard Rock 2, I believe, as a potential pick that I imagine would be favoring Oregon. They also still have the Hidden One, so some options for Oregon, and I really don't know what Stateless would want to do here to try and counteract that.
Stateless, unfortunately, has just simply been getting outclassed across the board here for skill sets. Oregon, the more consistent team, more depth available to them, and as we go into Doku for Free Mod 2, we're going to try and pick up another bit of a mechanics advantage for Stateless here. This is one of the most difficult maps in the pool, as generally a consensus for the players this weekend in terms of just overall requirements, especially across the mod players here. Hard Rock, a ridiculously difficult mod to run on this one alongside Hidden. No mod, a little bit better of a time, but I digress. One of the most difficult maps of the weekend. I believe the only like super standout score we've seen this weekend on this map was Taquito putting up a full combo in New York's match on this earlier with Hidden, I think with 4 100s, so a significant improvement from the rest of the competition, where I think the best score before that was only in the 700Ks. So Stateless going to try and make it work.
And that's actually from Eddie, who put up a 740k on no mod in their match yesterday, so I'm
once
curious
again
to see if they'll be playing in this one.
Surely you must have your best player in for this map, unless Eddie had to like leave or something. I don't see a world where he doesn't play this. We have not seen Eddie in a little while, mind you, here.
Yeah.
Played Mommy Zone, didn't play Duroc Wilder. Clearly not comfortable on the reading. Yukina Simp doing pretty well off on that map, so it's understandable that they most likely were going to outscore Eddie on that map. Looks like we may potentially be getting Chang in for this pick, so I'm not entirely sure if Oregon just is confident enough that they can beat Stateless on this map without their #1 player from yesterday, or if they've got some ace up their sleeve where they want to just switch these mods around. But if I was Stateless, I'd feel pretty confident that their best player is no longer here on Oregon for this pick.
If I had to guess, they might be feeling more like overmodding. Tile was on the Hard Rock yesterday, and Bashi was on the Hidden, so with Cheng coming in, might see another Hidden here, but it seems very weird not seeing above and beyond the best player on their team scoring yesterday, playing in this one. And yeah, we are gonna see kind of overmodding. It's actually the easy coming out here from Bashi Man with the Hidden on Chang. So no overmodding on the side of Stateless, Tulu with the Hard Rock, no mod on Hidden Dagger, who more or less is going to be matching Bashi on this easy, and Tristan on the Hidden.
Technically not an overmod for Oregon based on the rules of this tournament. Easy does not count as a unique mod here, so Bashi really just going for the style points on this one over anything, which I respect very much so. For free mod 2 here, Boshiman and Tile were the second best scoring players for Oregon on this map in the first playthrough. Boshiman ran Hidden last time. Gonna be going for the easy this time around. Tile did run the Hard Rock. And again, we're losing that Eddie no-mod combo right now, which seems to still be working out for Oregon as we see a double break from Stateless, and now a full reset from Stateless as Chang with the only break on Oregon now. Tile looking to improve their performance with the Hard Rock from the first match. They only put up 359k, and they're already at 200k in this first section. Boshiman going to be rocking out the solo FC, though.
Yeah, and I mean, as you said, Easy, while it is a mod, it is not considered a unique mod here in USC, so yeah, definitely going to be interesting here, especially considering that Oregon is winning despite Easy being halved score, and without Easy's multiplier, I believe it's, what, 1.75x for USC? Or is it 2x?
United States Cup is 2x hidden multiplier. That is the one constant of this tournament has been that Easy has always been doubled. Yeah. That's why we have so many Easy players on free mod. No FC for Bashi, though, sadly.
No
the
FC.
X.
And I do believe it is still favoring Oregon, but just barely so, as a recovery combo here from Tristan. Tallulah had one. It does end up dropping. And Dagger building up a bit of combo themselves, and all players really are struggling for the most part to have much of any kind of combo. So yeah, misses from Bashi and Tristan going to be traded here.
Stateless has to win by the exact same margin that Boshiman's current score is, which means that Stateless would need to be at 1.5 million or 1.05 million. They are there now, and I think that they might actually end up pulling this close to back at the ending here. This is actually going to almost need to be some math done here at the ending. This is going to be so close. We'll take a look at it as the map comes to an end here, but I don't actually know who is this one right now, Pigeon. This is a 230,000 score lead for Stateless, which means that they won that map.
Oregon's.
That is
no, I think
Stateless.
I think it might be Oregon's because Bashi 218.
That puts them at 164. That is a Stateless win, 100%. Mathematically, I think that is 100% Stateless. They had about 230k difference, and Boshiman had 218,000 score. Mental mathing right now, that is a Stateless win.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Well, they were able to do exactly what I was hoping for them to do, putting a point on the board, albeit a hard-fought point, but this is the start of their comeback here. It's not already over for Oregon, but yeah, Ref has gone ahead and verified. Stateless does end up winning by just barely under like 600 points.
That is by 10,000 points.
10,600, sorry.
So once again, Stateless staying on the board now. It will not be a clean sweep for Oregon, and Oregon, again, running without their single best player on that map in Eddie. Kyle asking, how do I go from 600k to 300k yesterday and today? Well, that's kind of the way Hard Rock works on this map, unfortunately, Tile. Probably one of the most difficult mod combinations and maps we've seen in United States Cup thus far, and Stateless comes out on top. Now a no mod 5 from Oregon now. It's going to be egg pain, and Oregon's going to try and force match point on it.
Yeah, the egg in question. This is a pretty weird map. It's just a lot of repeating, like, overlap sections. So the first part is kind of like a downward diagonal Z line, whatever, and then just a straight line at the bottom. The second part's like triangles. The third part just gets going in a big circle. But it's all differing patterns each time. So there's no real, like, getting too comfortable with the map itself, because the patterns are constantly changing. It's like 3 notes into 3 notes, sometimes it's 4 notes into 2, 2 to 4, 2, 1, 2, so players really have to be staying focused on making sure that they're tapping the right pattern, or it's going to be very easy to miss a lot of notes in a row.
This is a map that we've seen a lot of people find success on, and a lot of teams that have had unfortunate misses across the board for this, so we are really looking to see if there's a big standout combo that's going to make the difference for one of these two teams here. That is the type of map that this is. And with Oregon looking to force match point on this, Stateless really doesn't have any opportunity other than to win this pick and try and give themselves a chance to get back into this match. Oregon, again, they're up on Stateless by 3 points, and unfortunately for Stateless, 2 of those are their own picks, are break points. So Stateless needs to win 2 of Oregon's picks to get back into this match fully right now. And the only way that they are going to be able to manage that without needing to win 4 consecutive maps in a row is to start on egg pain right here and try and get this in. It's the only way Stateless can win without having to go through tiebreaker, mind you, as well. So a big, long journey ahead for Stateless to try and get through this map. And as a quick update for everyone here, if you're not watching the A stream as well, Virginia and South California right now currently at a 3-2 score line in favor of Virginia, who just won their own pick. So close match over there. Oregon and Stateless not done yet, though. Stateless continues to fight on another map.
Yeah, definitely go open up another tab and watch both of these matches, as, I mean, while it is 4-1, it could definitely go the distance here. That South California versus Virginia match, definitely a bit closer, but we are going to be getting into this 6th map of this match. This is Oregon's pick, no mod 5, as we wait for Bancho to cover. And this is when the patterns start occurring. Like I was trying to explain, it's like sometimes triple into singles, singles into triples. There's just a lot of variance, so if you're not paying too much attention, it's very easy to fall apart very quickly.
Oh boy, Stateless just found a double break on the exact same note. That is absolutely tragic. And here comes the triangle. We've seen a lot of combos get taken out on this. It's going to be Tallulah and Rinko Shirokane along with Tristan to find the breaks on the triangle here. No other major drops there as we go into the next section of finger control. Yukina Simp gonna break on this patterning here, leaving Bashimen and Zyrelic on a 1v1 right now. Zyrelic higher accuracy, but over aims the triple in the worst way possible. Will drop the last full combo for Stateless, and Bashimen will now have a massive advantage going into the pause.
Yeah, Yukina Simp dropping a combo at the very end, right before that pause as well. Of course, they did miss slightly earlier than that, but yeah, this Stateless team really just has to hope that Bashiman falls apart, and I don't really know if Bashiman's gonna fall apart on a map like this.
Definitely potential for breaks on the ending of this map, given that it is probably the hardest section. The beginning of this map is extremely straightforward in finger control, and there it is again. The ending always seems to catch players out as Bashi over-aims and note-locks one of these bursts before the alternating finger control section here, but it's Rinko Shirokane to match up with the combo on Tristan in order to maintain this Oregon lead. They've got a combo on Zyrelic for Stateless right now, so Stateless is down, but they're not out. If Rinko Shirokane finds a break right now, then Tristan and Zyrelic might be able to claw this back. It's Tallulah to find a miss, though. It's not going to be helping them out at all. Again, continuing to mess up these single stack triples right here. And we've got a third of the way left to go in the map. It is 150, 160k in favor of Oregon right now. They look to hold this.
Yeah, this
Oh,
is
Zyrelic.
what I would consider the hardest portion of the map, as we do see breaks from Zyrelic, Tallulah, and Tristan now, as well as Yukino Simp. No combo remaining on the side of Stateless, whereas Bashiman ends up dropping their combo that they have recovered, but it's just Rinko Shirokane now with any form of combo at all. And yeah, the score lead is going to start climbing drastically for Oregon as they do hold through that section.
Unfortunately, this ending section of the map is significantly easier than the prior one, and unless we see some major turnaround from Oregon right now, this is going to be a done deal. It's Rinko Shirokane to find the break. That's the intro for Stateless, but they need that combo to drop on Yukino Simp as Bashiman continues finding misses at this ending section. Going to be giving Stateless an opportunity to try and pull something back here, but the note density is simply not high enough at the end, and Stateless losing that combo on Tristan prevents any possibility of a comeback from happening here. Yukino Simp matching the combo of Tallulah, Rinko Shirokane not too far behind, and Bashi holding in, and that is simply it. Oregon to force match point, and Stateless now in the position to need to win 4 maps consecutively in order to stay alive in United States Cup.
And that's even just to get to tiebreaker. On top of winning those 4 maps in a row, they still need to win the tiebreaker if they want a chance at not getting kicked out of this tournament. Again, this is losers bracket. You know, despite this being seed 14 versus seed 11, these two teams are fighting to stay in the tournament. So, yeah, it's a tough climb for this Stateless team. I think they can definitely, you know, get their way along it, but are they going to be able to make it all the way through this tough journey? I don't know.
Hell,
Really gotta consider what they want to be picking here too. Oregon, of course, they had that Nomad 5, but I'm still looking at like the Hard Rock 2, the Hidden 1, as like potential pocket picks here for Oregon. So for Stateless, I mean, I don't really know what they need to go into here, but they're gonna go with the Hard Rock 1 themselves here. So maybe this is the answer. They do have a strong Hard Rock lineup, so definitely interested to see how this one will go, but yeah, I don't know.
if Oregon truly does not have Eddie right now and they are running the rest of the match without him, I would say that Stateless has a pretty good opportunity to take some big lead on this map early. But I'm not entirely sure what the status of that is for Oregon. Again, extremely surprised that Oregon did not run Eddie on Doku, given that that was their best player. So we need to see some major stuff from Stateless right now, and they need to hope that Eddie is potentially not going in. Too nervous, apparently, according to Eddie. So unfortunately, Oregon got to be running without them for the remainder of this match. They certainly have a significant number of picks of leeway, so to lose Eddie is not going to be a major crash for them. But it is probably one of the better players on this map lost, giving Stateless that opportunity that they need. But Stateless needs to find consistency here. Oregon, as a team, has been significantly outperforming what Stateless has been able to push up in this match thus far. And unless Stateless can make a major turnaround on their entire trio, they are not looking good traditionally. But this is a new map. It's a new skill set. It's the most basic map in the pool.
Yeah, definitely. I think anybody in this situation would be shaking in their boots at the idea of even having to win 4 straight maps in a row just to get the tiebreaker on top of winning that tiebreaker. This could be the start. Of course, as you mentioned, Eddie is got a little bit too much nerves to be playing in these maps, and this one is pretty skill cap, I would say, for this pool. It's one of the higher star ratings, and it is quite difficult to maintain huge amounts of combos on this. There's a lot of random areas that the jumps into these like cluster bursts, I've seen a lot of people just miss randomly on those. So, and a lot of wide angle jumps too that we're not necessarily so used to having.
This big aim Hard Rock right here. That's what this is. This is going to be a major mechanics player favoring map right now. Again, it is the epitome of what people probably would have considered a Nomad 1 style pick a couple of years ago, with the exception of some of these bursts making it more of a consistency map, but I digress. The most basic map in the entire pool by a significant margin, as we see the patterning just take over for the flow, aim, and jumps here. So it's kind of what you expect with this Isomeer style mapping here, where we just throw Hard Rock on and makes things a little bit smaller, a little bit more difficult. Got to find that precision, and again, the consistency, because this map is a little bit longer. And it's Zyrelic and Tile, the only two to come out of that beginning section with major combos. Zyrelic, the only one on the full combo left, as Stateless puts up slightly better supporting scores. Ooh, not anymore, though. Tallulah.
Yeah, Tallulah ends up dropping on those back and forths. We've seen many players fall to those patterns, as Zyrelic also drops their combo. Tile going to be dropping their major combo, but so does Hidden Dagger, so it is now no major combos for the side of Stateless, to just the one in Bashi Man. Yukino Simp going to be dropping shortly after, but yeah, this is getting pretty scary so far, as no player on Stateless is able to hold on to anything, really.
Yeah, this is unfortunately a massive downturn from Stateless from that beginning. It looked so good for them. They had one FC holding, they had great backing scores, and it just all fell apart so fast for them. Oregon now with kind of the equivalent of what Stateless had at the beginning of this map, but now into that halfway mark. Bashi Man, once again, that #1 performer on the Hard Rock, probably the best Hard Rock player in this lobby. And if Oregon had Eddie, I'd say that this would be even more in their favor than it currently is right now. Yukino Simp and Tile doing a great job putting up supporting combos right now. And with Hidden Dagger finding another break, those supporting combos are actually outscoring the full set of combos now from Stateless. It is 550 combo between Tallulah and Zyrelic. Bashi Man is well outscoring. That means that whatever Yukino Simp is putting up right now is bonus on top of that. And that's contributing to this over 200k lead now for Oregon, 260-70k now, and climbing a third of the way left in the pick. And Oregon's looking to close this one out 6-1 versus Stateless, unless something major happens here. And unfortunately for Stateless, it's a break from Tallulah and Hidden Dagger as Bashi continues with this combo.
Yeah, I mean, even if all players on the side of Oregon drop their combos, of course we did see some miss from Tile. Yukino Simp does end up dropping, but I mean, it's 400,000 points remaining, not even a quarter of the way left in the map, and the ending of this map is pretty slow with not much combo here. This is most certainly just going to be Oregon closing this one out 6-1 against the Stateless team. And as unfortunate as it is to do so, we do unfortunately have to say goodbye to one of these two teams, and that team is going to be Stateless.
Into the end. Final notes, and Oregon's going to close it out with Bashi Man on a 1200 combo, significantly outscoring any other member in this lobby, even on their own team. Almost a full combo. Reverse choke for Bashi. And that is it. Oregon going to come out on top 6-1 versus Stateless in a fashion that could be expected in some minds, but on paper, this match should have been a little bit closer. An 11th seed versus a 14th seed. You expect to have a little bit more back and forth, but Oregon simply just being the better team today across the board. And Stateless will drop out of the tournament before the semifinals. Not quite making it to top 12, but pretty close. I'd say they placed almost on par with their seeding, which is very respectable. Oregon technically being right within their seed range now, making it to the semifinals weekend as the 11th seed, and they are going to live another day. We thank Stateless once again for being able to formulate a team. Stateless is a team that has had a lot of ups and downs over the years of United States Cup, from being one of the best teams in the tournament in the early days of United States Cup all the way through today. They are a team that has existed as long as some of the actual states in terms of composition here, so always good to see them return, always good to have a Stateless, and we hope to see them back next year. To Oregon, we wish you luck in next weekend. They will be facing off against the loser of match 46, which will be the loser of South California versus Virginia, taking place on the A stream right now.
Match that is currently going on, which we will be swapping over to here in just a moment. They are 3-3, so I believe right now this is Virginia's pick, and they are on the Hard Rock 3, so yeah, I don't really have much else to say other than we're make sure to go check that match out. We're going to be rating them, I believe, here, and let me check to see when the next match is going to be. Yeah, we're going to send you guys over there. And there is going to be one more match tonight that will be between Washington and Oklahoma here in about 20 or so-ish minutes. That'll be potentially on the B stream.
That will be on the
supposed to be on the A stream, but yeah, if this match between the South California versus Virginia goes too long, then it might have to go to the B stream. And then as far as future matches, we only have one left. That will be Tuesday at 2 UTC, so Monday night between Florida and Maryland. But yeah, thanks so much.
We're done.
Thanks so much for watching, Chillier. Thank you so much for the cast, and thank you to the streamer as well as the refs for this match. And we're gonna head over to that A stream, so make sure to stick around.